What is going on, everybody? It is Mike Charlip once again coming at you on my website, MikeJC on Wrestling.com, and this is my third installment of my audio blog, and today I am going to be discussing this weekend's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And if you've been following my site, if you are a fan of what I'm doing here, you would notice that I've done some more writing recently, and I think that's going pretty well. As I've said in the past, I'm going to be doing alternating. If there's something I want to talk about that I feel like I could talk about more, like today on here, I'll talk about it. But if there's something that I'm going to write about that I feel more comfortable writing about, then like I said, I will write about it. So it's going to fluctuate. Like I said, I'm not doing this every single week. I'm not writing something every single week. But in the current landscape that we're all living in, I gotta do something, right? So anyway, we're gonna discuss the Money in the Bank pay-per-view this week, and there's only 6 announced matches, and I think that will change as we get closer. We're 2 days out at time of recording, and I think we're probably gonna get another match here and there, maybe a pre-show match, I don't know. But I'm gonna start it off by discussing, I mean, like I said, this isn't announced, but a lot of people have been saying that we'll probably get a tag title match, a Raw tag title match between these two teams, the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. We saw the Viking Raiders get another win over the Street Profits, but this time it was a non-title match, and I didn't really understand why they put so much hype behind a non-title match. They acted like it was a tag title win when they won, and it's just, at this point, it's inevitable that they will have another match, this time for the titles, and I think the Street Profits will finally get their win back. The Street Profits have lost numerous times to the Viking Raiders, and I think that it's finally time for them to get that win back. Finally, time for them to seem credible as a tag team. We have seen this match numerous times, and the Street Profits have lost every single time. So if this match does happen at the pay-per-view, I think it's finally time for them to successfully defend those titles against the Viking Raiders and get that big win. The Raw Tag Team division has not been very good since all those releases recently, so you really gotta do something to elevate the Street Profits as the champions, and this would definitely be that. And again, like I said, this isn't an announced match, it's just a match that I feel, and a lot of people feel, is going to happen. And it's very possible that it doesn't happen at the pay-per-view. It's very possible that this could happen on a future episode of Raw. Regardless, moving on, we're going to talk about the matches that are announced. And the first match I'm going to discuss is a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The New Day will be defending against Miz and Morrison, Lucha House Party, and the Forgotten Sons. Now, if you have been keeping up with the news recently, you will know that the Usos probably are not going to be around for a while, because Jimmy Uso injured his knee and is estimated to miss 6 to 9 months, which is a very big hit for this tag team division, and a lot of speculation that this is the reason that the Forgotten Sons were called up recently. The Forgotten Sons really did not get a fair shake in NXT. They were not treated very well as a top caliber tag team there either. They never beat anybody. Every time they had a big tag match, they lost. They never won the NXT Tag Championships. They never did anything really of relevance in NXT but lose. And they called them up to SmackDown to fill the void of the Usos. Probably not going to be there for a long time. And it feels like they're trying to make them credible here by putting them in this fatal four-way right away, getting a big win over the New Day in a standard tag team match. I think that it's very possible that they could win, and considering any team could take the fall, it doesn't seem like they care too much about Lucha House Party over there on SmackDown. Those guys kind of feel like the fall guys here. Miz and Morrison just had the titles, lost them after a month of holding them. New Day doesn't really need them, but they are the top team now that the Usos are out. But I could totally see the Forgotten Sons getting the win here to give them some credibility and maybe have a long-term feud with the New Day. So that's what I'm going to say. I think the Forgotten Sons will get a surprise win here and probably pin the Lucha House Party, one of the Lucha House Party members, to get it done. So moving on from that, we'll go to the next match listed, and that is the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Bayley defending against Tamina. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of this feud. I have not liked what they have done to get us here. I have not liked this feud in general, because all of this just seems like placement, a feud to hold us over to when we finally get to Sasha versus Bayley. Now, we've been saying that for a long time, because for the longest time, it feels like 3 years now, we have been saying, oh, we're going to get that Sasha Bayley feud, that big Sasha Bayley feud at WrestleMania. Well, we're going to get it at SummerSlam instead. And it feels like we've been saying that exact thing for years now, but it needs to happen now. Unfortunately, the SmackDown Women's roster is kind of lacking in top baby faces and top heels, to be honest. Bayley and Sasha are the two that are carrying this division. Bayley has been amazing as a heel. Her interactions with Michael Cole since this whole ordeal with no crowds and trying to one up the things that Michael Cole's been saying on commentary has been great. I've loved every second of Bayley's heel work, and she is very good at it. I was one of those people that thought Bayley was going to be a lifer as a babyface, that she could have been the John Cena of the women's division, and unfortunately WWE ruined her, and but this heel run has really rejuvenated her. And for the longest time, everybody was like, oh, Sasha's going to turn on Bayley. Sasha's going to turn on Bayley. And now, I think Bayley's going to turn on Sasha. Tamina, unfortunately for her, has never really gotten her fair shake in the division. And to be honest, she's never really had a good singles match. Bayley has had to give her a lot recently. Bayley has made Tamina look good, but this feud has meant nothing. It's really being overshadowed by everybody saying, and it's obvious. They're building to this Bayley-Sasha actual singles feud. It's very obvious. And Bayley will get the win here. Tamina's not going to win the title now, especially with this going on. So Bayley will retain. It's very possible that we'll see more cracks in the friendship of Sasha and Bayley here to set us up for that. Let me just say that One thing I did not agree with was I felt Sasha should have been in the Money in the Bank match, and I'm not talking about that match now, I'm just continuing on the Sasha Bayley thing. Sasha should have been in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and she should have won the Money in the Bank ladder match, because that would have been a great way to build to that match, build to that actual feud. Bayley's still the champion, and Sasha holding the briefcase over her. And being Bayley's friend, would she actually cash in on her? And Bayley getting paranoid, and Bayley not liking that Sasha has the briefcase because her friend is holding over the fact that she could cash in on her at any time. I thought that was the perfect way to build this feud. And instead, Sasha's not in Money in the Bank. And I think that was the wrong move. If Sasha was in Money in the Bank, she would 100% be my pick to win it. But I will discuss that when I get to the ladder matches. So on to the next match, and unfortunately another one that I am just not really looking forward to. It's Braun Strowman defending the Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt. This feud has been horrible. Braun Strowman has been doing these horrible promos that have clearly been written for him. And he just doesn't sound like a champion. He sounds like he's reading things off a piece of paper. He sounds boring. He sounds dull. He just, it's not working. They're doing exactly, and I've said this in my writing before, they're doing to him what they did to Roman in 2015. And it's really bad. And this feud could have been interesting because of the whole dynamic of the history of the Wyatt family. The fact that the main Wyatt family members are no longer around doesn't really make it that much interesting. But I just don't I don't see this match going over very well. And he's not facing the Fiend, actually. He's facing Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. And we've only seen that Bray Wyatt in one match before, and that was against The Miz in a non-title match. And he won. The Fiend lost to Goldberg, which is... I don't think I'm ever going to get over that. But then you had Goldberg lose to Braun. So even if Braun was facing the Fiend, would it matter? I mean, if the Fiend can lose to Goldberg, he can surely lose to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman beat Goldberg in less than a minute. I hate what they have done to Bray Wyatt since that. The John Cena stuff was actually entertaining, but this feud is just not working for me. It's clearly, I think it's going to continue because Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, is not going to beat Braun. I think this feud is going to go into June, and the Fiend will defeat Braun Strowman at a later date. Because as of right now, there's nobody for Braun to feud with. There's no other heels. Can we even call Bray Wyatt a heel at this point? I don't know what he is. He's more like a tweener right now, but Braun is not a good face. Braun needs to be a heel, and there would definitely be more people for him to feud with if he was a heel. He could feud with Jeff Hardy down the line. That's a feud I would be interested in, but I think that the Braun as champion project is not working, and he shouldn't even be champion, but it is what it is. So yeah, Bray is definitely not winning here. So I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Going on to the next match is the WWE Championship match. Now this is a match I'm actually interested in seeing. The champion, Drew McIntyre, defending against Seth Rollins. Now this match might actually be very, very good. And I've said it before, I don't like the fact that the way we got here, I don't like how we got here. I don't like that Seth lost at Mania, and then the next night on Raw, he just decides to attack the champion. And the champion goes, oh, well, Seth is a proven performer, so normally I would say he needs to earn a title shot, but I'm just gonna kick your ass. I don't like that. That is not good storytelling. That is just the champion being like, oh, I'll fight you, Seth, sure. But, again, Seth lost at Mania. What did he do to earn that championship match? Saying that he's a proven performer doesn't give him a pass, in my book. He should have to build his way to be built up to that championship opportunity. He should have to earn it. They could have had a number one contenders match. They could have did anything. Did something to explain why he's getting a championship match, except they didn't. Now, even though I'm not happy about that, I'm very excited about the match. The match itself is going to be a good one. And I think that Drew is going to win. Drew has to win. Seth can't just take the title after 1 month. That Drew has been built up amazingly, and they're actually doing everything right with him that they're not doing with Braun. He actually has personality. He actually is being himself on TV. He's doing everything right now. He should be champion for a long time. And like I said, this is going to be a great match. And I think something is going to happen where maybe Buddy Murphy gets involved and accidentally causes Seth to lose. And because, like I said, Seth cannot win here. Drew needs to win. Drew needs to hold on to that title for a long time and be the top guy that he always should have been. But again, like I said, I think this is going to be a very good match with Drew retaining. So, moving on from that, and there really is nothing else left to talk about but these ladder matches. And I have hated the slogans that they have put on this match. I've hated that they continue to repeat them over and over and over again. For the first time ever, the Money in the Bank match will be contested inside the corporate building of WWE, where the championships will be suspended at the top of the building over a ring, and all of the performers, the men and the women, will start at the bottom of the building and have to work all the way up to the roof and into the ring to get the championships. Now, I understand the circumstances calls for some unique, matches, whatever. We've seen it with the Boneyard match, with the Funhouse match, with the Gargano Ciampa match. This is fun. I'm fine with the idea, but you don't need to throw it down my throat that they need to climb the corporate ladder and the risk is worth the reward. They do not need to throw that in to every promo and say that 100 times on commentary. I get it. It's a corporate building. They're climbing to the top. The risk is worth the reward because somebody could fall. They've been saying that a lot too, making it seem like that's gonna happen. Obviously not gonna happen, but still, all of this has been very annoying. But regardless, I'm very intrigued by the match. Very intrigued by the men and the women competing at the same exact time. And I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. Are the men and the women going to start at different sides of the building? Are the men and the women going to start at the same location? Are they going to fight each other? Are they going to... Is a man going to get both briefcases? Is a woman going to get both briefcases? I don't know. They have not really explained how that's going to work. And as we all know, this match was pre-recorded. We don't know what happened because we're not supposed to, which is fine. I don't want to know. But for the participants, like going through all of the participants, the men, we have Aleister Black, Daniel Bryan, Baron Corbin, Otis, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles. Originally, Apollo Crews was supposed to be in that match, and I'm actually fine with what happened to him because they're actually doing something with him, finally, after all this time. And I'm very intrigued about that. But besides that, out of all of these guys, the only person that I can see winning is AJ Styles. Now, before AJ was officially in the match, I was set on it being Aleister Black. But now that I thought about it, had some time to think about it, Aleister doesn't need the Money in the Bank. They've been building him up pretty well. He's been beating everybody. He hasn't lost a singles match on TV in over 2 years, I believe. So, he doesn't really need it. Rey Mysterio doesn't need a world title. It probably will never win one ever again. He's a legend. He's there for the spots, whatever. That's what Rey Mysterio is there for now. Otis, not going to win a world title. Otis isn't a tag team. I get that Vince McMahon likes him. I get that he's over. Blah, blah, blah. Not going to win a world title. Everybody knows that by now. It's maybe down the line when they break up Heavy Machinery. But that's just not going to happen. Daniel Bryan doesn't need it. Daniel Bryan can win a world title anytime. Down the line. He can be put into a number one contenders match randomly and he could win a title. He doesn't need Money in the Bank. Now, Baron Corbin, unfortunately, I could definitely see Baron Corbin winning, because for whatever reason, Vince McMahon is obsessed with Baron Corbin, throwing him down our throats. The stupid King gimmick, the stupid catchphrases, the stupid King stuff. I hate it. I hate it so much. But Baron Corbin is actually a very good worker. They don't really make it that obvious because all they want is for me to hate him, but not, I don't hate him, or let me rephrase that. I don't hate his character in the way they want me to hate his character. I hate his character so much I don't want him on my screen. I don't hate him as a heel, and that's not good. He's a great worker. He's very innovative in his moveset for a big guy, and I give him that. But I could very much see Vince McMahon giving the briefcase to Baron Corbin just to throw it down fans like mine throat. And I don't want that at all. Now, on to AJ Styles. AJ Styles was a last-minute entrant into this match with a gauntlet match that they had on Raw, where Bobby Lashley destroyed 3 jobbers, got DQ'd, and then they had Humberto Carrillo get some fluke wins, and then he lost to AJ. Again, don't get me started on Humberto Carrillo. This is not the time for that. The reason I could see AJ winning is because of the fact that Drew is so over as a face right now, And AJ Styles can be very good with that briefcase. He can hold on to it for a long time and be very arrogant about it. He doesn't need to earn a championship match again. He's that good. AJ Styles can do anything and make it work. Now people will probably say, oh, but AJ doesn't need it. AJ's been a world champion. I get that. I completely understand. But out of everybody in this match, he is the only person that can really hold on to this and make it work. And that is a fact. It needs to be AJ right now. As for the women, I mentioned earlier that since Sasha's not in there, I don't really know who should win here. Now, if you look at who's in it, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Asuka, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, and Carmella. Carmella, she's won Money in the Bank before. They're not going to give it to her again. Lacey, not ready. Lacey is still very, very, very green, and she's just getting her footing in the ring. She's not there yet. She's not ready. Shayna doesn't need it because technically she's still feuding with Becky. Becky hasn't done anything since Mania, but she doesn't need it. Shayna can just earn a championship match. As I said earlier, she won Elimination Chamber very easily, and that was not a good match. Regardless, she doesn't need it either. Now, they could give it to Nia for the sole reason that they, before Nia got hurt, they were putting over the fact that she broke Becky's face. But again, she could also just earn a title match. Because she's a dominant force or whatever. Either way, Asuka, again, same thing. Asuka doesn't need the briefcase. Again, for the same reason, she could just earn a championship match down the line. Now, despite the fact that I think they could give it to Nia because of the whole Becky thing, Dana Brooke could actually win this. And I think that Dana Brooke could benefit the most from winning this. Dana Brooke has improved so much over the time that she's been in WWE. The amount of time that she's been overlooked and just sitting there and stuck on main event, she has gotten very, very good in the ring. And this could be the perfect way to build up another babyface, because they're really lacking those on SmackDown, as I said earlier. They could definitely give her the briefcase and have her hold it for a very long time, and actually put her in some credible feuds. Have her feud with Sasha, have her feud with Lacey, have her feud with Carmella. You can turn any of these people and have Dana have a good feud with them, because she's pretty good at what she does. She's great in the ring. She's good at talking. And like I said, they need some more baby faces over there on SmackDown. So for that reason, I'm actually going to pick Dana. And I think that would be very good for the women's division as a whole. So, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen in this match. As I said earlier, we don't know if maybe a man can just grab both briefcases, or two different men, or two different women, blah blah blah. But this could be a very intriguing match, and I'm very, very interested to see what happens there. As I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of most of the builds going into this show, but as a wrestling fan, as a real wrestling fan who cares about wrestling, I'm still gonna give the show a watch, obviously, and hope that it's really good, or at least passable. And a lot of times when we go into a show, and I've said this in the past, I've said this in writings, A lot of times when we go into a show and expect it to not be good, we end up getting surprised. And I don't know if this is going to be the best show, obviously. I don't know if this is going to be a bad show. I don't know if it's going to be a great show. But either way, I'm always excited for Money in the Bank. This is something new. And I just want to enjoy wrestling, guys, as I've said before. I've said numerous times. I love wrestling. And I just want everything to make sense. I just want good stories for my wrestling. And I don't think that's too much to ask. And if you've seen my most recent article, 10 things in WWE that need to change but probably won't, that's those things. Even though some of those things are probably nitpicky things that only bother me, a lot of those things are what's wrong with SmackDown, way more than Raw, but Raw has its problems too. Either way, I hope everybody enjoys the show. You can follow me on Twitter at MikeJC821. Look out for more stuff like this, more writings, more projects that I'm working on that I hope to announce soon. And thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for supporting me. If you have from the beginning, I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody enjoys the show. Thanks, guys.